Going to the gym in January is terrible because it's jam-packed with people who will only be there a few weeks. If you aren't there before 5 in the morning, you'll never get a swim lane or the free weights you need. It's like when a cruise ship comes in and swarms of people are downtown, but they only last a short while. I've been watching the pattern long enough to know that it's just a temporary spike, and most of them won't still be there in a month. Same pattern no matter where in the world I live. January is the month that everyone swears they've upped their game, but most people neglect the small shift that truly enables change. We're going to answer 2 questions in this episode, so think as both an entrepreneur and as a consumer as you listen. First, we'll talk about what that necessary shift is so you can create change instead of a resolution doomed from day one. And then we'll look at how you help your clients do the same. So let's go. We all get excited about the new year. And for most of us, each new lap around that January 1st start line gives us a sense of empowerment that makes it easier to say yes. Think about the situation I just described, that jam-packed January gym. Think about it from the perspective of the gym owner for just a moment. That sweet spike in revenue that comes in December and in early January, only to then turn to churn in Q1 cancellations. The clients meant it when they said yes to joining the gym. They actually had a goal in mind. They wanted to lose the weight. They wanted to get fit. They wanted to do what all the longevity podcasts have been telling them. But then, February came. Things came up, life happened, and they eventually stopped going. The question I have for you, thinking like the business owner, is if they stop going to the gym, do they achieve their goal? Because if they stop going to the gym, well, you as the business owner certainly don't achieve yours, and your client, they may be even worse off. Because maybe they're feeling defeated again. This is the same thing that happens in consultancy, particularly when we're working with clients who have targets to meet and set new growth goals for the new year. But business is not about clients saying yes. It's not about signing a contract or signing a gym membership. Business is about helping people solve problems. So, if our clients are year-end yeses because they have a goal in mind, well, it's our duty to set them up for success. Having a goal might determine a yes, but having a goal will not determine success. Let's test out this hypothesis. What's the goal of every Olympian? Gold medal, right? Well, in Paris 2024, there were over 10,000 athletes and 329 medal events. So the goal of the gold medal was not the determining factor in who won one. The goal will give you a direction to move in, but what makes the difference is not the goal, it's the standards. This is exactly what they're getting at. If you've ever heard people in the personal development world, they say, act as if you already had it. The question here is, are you doing the things that the person who has achieved this goal would be doing? It's not just saying, I want to end next year with an extra $600,000 in recurring revenue. That's the goal. But there's no movement toward it until you adopt the standards it takes to get there. So what does an entrepreneur with an extra $600,000 in recurring revenue do on a day-to-day basis that you're not doing? Don't up your goals unless you up your standards. So if you were an athlete whose goal it is to become an Olympic gold medalist, notice the wording I just used, to become an Olympic gold medalist. I didn't say that the gold was the goal. Becoming the person who wins the gold is the goal. And from inside that frame, the athlete would have a set of standards. They would probably look at who has become a gold medalist before, and what did they do that helped them get there. It probably was not eating fast food or going out to nightclubs. Probably looked a bit more like a strict nutrition plan, a hydration plan, a bedtime. Probably a team of coaches and trainers, health evaluations, visualization. Maybe they use biometric sensors and monitor regularly how they feel. The standards they put in place are what can enable them to become one of those 329 gold medalists. So let's take this back to our gym owner for just a minute and see how to help clients set up the standards to help them get their goal. What if the person who in December said, I'm taking off 20 pounds. January 1st, I start at the gym. And they signed up. What if, instead of leaving them alone with their goal, what if the gym owner said back, 20 pounds is the goal. Now let's map out the standards that are going to get you there. What if the gym owner then did a simple integration so that every time the person swiped their membership card, it tracked their standards? Maybe something simple like a weekly report email that says, you are on your way to losing those 20 pounds and you committed to 3 days at the gym. We only saw you here twice. Here's the agenda of fitness classes so you can get them on your calendar so nothing will get in the way of you losing those 20 pounds. The next week, they go 3 days and they get an email that says, you are on your way to losing those 20 pounds and you met your commitments at the gym. Great work. How would you rate how you did on your nutrition commitments you made this week? Remember that every Thursday from 5 to 9, we have free open office hours with our staff nutritionist. See where I'm going with this? This person is more and more likely to achieve their goal because they have set and are being held to a set of standards. What do you think happens when that person has lost the 20 pounds? You think they say mission accomplished and they quit the gym? Heck no. Then they see themselves in the mirror, they feel good, they have more confidence, they want to tone up, they want to look more fit. They're feeling better about themselves. They're part of something because someone, the gym owner, has showed they care. They're going to keep going. The gym became part of their standards and thus part of their daily habits. The gym is their accomplice in achieving their goal. And when people ask how they did it, they will proudly say, I get my butt out of bed every morning and I go to the gym. Let's extrapolate this example to your consulting business. It's no different from when a client says, we want to increase our employee retention by 15%. As a consultant, before we can agree to helping them achieve that goal, we have to dig in to what are their standards. And maybe they don't know what those standards need to be. And then that needs to be step one that you contract for first. This sounds so obvious, but how often are you skipping this? You have to act like the person you want to become, and so do your clients. You want to become the business with the lowest employee turnover globally? Look at who currently is and find out what they're doing and start making changes in the day-to-day. The standards are the starting point. The problem is, if you take on the client who has a goal but doesn't have clear standards, clear day-to-day actions for achieving it, and then they don't achieve the goal, then they will end the contract saying that you didn't help them achieve the goal. You lose. They lose. Just like the gym owners who get year-end yeses followed by Q1 cancellations. Think of setting standards like your business rule book. Rules you're going to abide by to help you achieve your goals. Well-defined standards will set you up for growth, expansion, and to become the type of person who achieves that goal. And you have to make sure your clients are doing this too. So now let's get practical and then tactical. To illustrate how I use this, here are 3 standards that I've set up that have made a huge difference in my business. First is weekly content. You want that revenue goal, you want the growth, you've got to be visible creating high-value content every week. Number 2, build it all for the client. I never create a product without first talking to clients and understanding what they need, what they want, and what they're willing to pay for. I do a few calls every month with clients to understand their problems so that I can create solutions that are no-brainers for them. And number 3 is focus time. I give myself uninterrupted time to work on the things that require my full attention. There are calendar blocks in place, so no one can book me during those times. And I outline every Sunday how those time blocks are going to be focused throughout the week. That's an example of standards that have set me up for greater success. So now the tactical. Here's your action to take. Think of one thing you really want to achieve, one goal you've laid out for yourself. What are the standards that you'll set now, today, that will turn you into the person who achieves it? If you're not sure what those standards should be, take a look at someone who has achieved that goal. For instance, if you're in corporate and you want to start your own business, what would someone who started their own business be doing today? Building relationships? Networking? Being visible on social media? Recording their podcast? Pick one and make it a standard. And in the pursuit of the goal of having your own business, your standards will help you become entrepreneurial. You are getting your current results for only one reason, and it's not because you don't have the right goals. It's because of your current standards. If you want to level up to get something better from life, you've got to level up your standards. Remember to see this through the double lens. The same applies to your clients. If you can help them create new standards to take them to their goal and abide faithfully by those standards, make it easy for them. So easy that you've removed the possibility of excuses, so they do follow through. Well then, you'll have winning clients who want to keep going as far as you can keep helping them level up. To sum up, here's what to remember. First, goals alone don't create success. Standards do. Every Olympian wants gold. They all have the same goal. So the goal itself is not the determining factor. The goal gives you direction. Standards determine whether you get there. Second, act like the person you want to become. If you want an extra $600,000 in recurring revenue, adopt the daily standards of someone who already has it. Look at who's achieved what you want and model their day-to-day practices. Finally, your business success depends on helping clients establish and maintain standards, not just set goals. When you help them create daily actions and hold them accountable, they achieve results and they stay longer. When you've helped a client achieve a goal, they don't say mission accomplished. They want what's next. So before you set your next quarter's goals or your New Year's resolution, before you take on another client who has big ambitions, pause and define the standards. What daily actions will turn you or your client into someone who achieves that outcome? Remember, you're getting your current results because of your current standards. You want better results, you upgrade your standards first. I'm Melissa Marchand, helping accomplished professionals build consulting businesses they love. If you know someone whose goals are not getting them where they want to go, please share this episode with them.